You think you have tomorrow. You look up at the night sky and you see a silent, unchanging canvas of stars. Science tells us that our sun has another 5 billion years left to burn. We are taught that the universe will slowly, gently fade into a cold and dark abyss over trillions of years. That is the comforting lie we tell ourselves to sleep at night. But what if a bubble of absolute nothingness, moving at the exact speed of light, is already milliseconds away from erasing our solar system? What if the fabric of reality is tearing apart right now, and the news of our destruction is traveling alongside the destruction itself? There are monsters in the dark. Not aliens, not wars, but cold, unfeeling cosmic phenomena that can wipe out everything we know in a fraction of a second. No warning, no pain, no one left behind to remember that humanity ever existed. Right now, you are sitting on a cosmic time bomb, and the timer is hidden from view. Keep your eyes open, because by the time this video ends, you might realize how terrifyingly fragile our existence truly is. Here are 10 ways the universe could suddenly end, starting from the ones we might barely see coming to the ultimate invisible assassins. Number 10. The wandering abyss. When you think of a black hole, you probably imagine a stationary drain in the center of a distant galaxy, slowly consuming gas and dust. But the reality is far more terrifying. There are millions of supermassive black holes wandering freely and silently through the Milky Way galaxy right now. They are the ghosts of dead stars, cast out of their original orbits by ancient cosmic collisions. Because they do not emit any light of their own, our most advanced telescopes cannot see them. They are perfectly invisible predators prowling through the cosmic ocean. Imagine a rogue black hole, millions of times heavier than our sun, drifting into our solar system. We would not see it approaching. The first sign of our doom would not be a shadow in the sky, but a sudden, inexplicable madness in the gravity around us. The outer planets like Neptune and Uranus would be violently ripped from their orbits, flung out into deep space like unwanted toys. Then, the Earth would begin to scream. The immense gravitational pull would trigger global earthquakes, tearing continents apart and vaporizing the oceans. If we were lucky, the Earth would be instantly shattered into dust. If we were unlucky, our entire planet would be swallowed whole, crossing the event horizon into a realm where time and space no longer make sense. The wandering abyss does not care about our history, our dreams, or our civilization. It just consumes. Number 9. The invisible sniper. Somewhere out there in the deepest reaches of the cosmos, a dying giant is collapsing. When a massive star runs out of fuel, it does not just quietly fade away. Its core collapses under its own immense gravity, forming a black hole, and in its final death throes, it shoots out twin beams of pure, unadulterated energy from its poles. This is a gamma-ray burst, the most powerful explosion in the universe since the Big Bang itself. In just 10 seconds, a gamma-ray burst can release more energy than our sun will emit in its entire 10 billion year lifespan. Now, imagine if one of those beams was pointed exactly at Earth. It is a cosmic sniper rifle, and we are right in the crosshairs. Because the beam travels at the speed of light, we would have absolutely zero warning. No alarms would sound. The sky would simply flash with a blinding, lethal brilliance. In a fraction of a second, the ozone layer, the fragile, invisible shield that protects our planet, would be completely vaporized. The sun's deadly ultraviolet radiation would instantly cook the surface of the Earth. The oceans would boil, the forests would ignite, and every living creature exposed to the sky would be turned to ash before their brains could even process the flash of light. It is an instant, silent execution from billions of light years away. Number 8. The gravity glitch. We take gravity for granted. It keeps our feet on the ground, it holds the moon in the sky, and it binds the entire universe together like a master glue. But what if that glue suddenly lost its stickiness? Physics relies on constants, specific numbers that govern how the universe operates. The gravitational constant is one of the most critical. But quantum mechanics suggests that the vacuum of space is not truly empty. It is boiling with virtual particles popping in and out of existence. Some theoretical models, especially those involving dark matter, propose that the strength of gravity might not be as permanent as we think. Imagine a scenario where a localized quantum fluctuation causes the gravitational constant to drop, even by a tiny fraction. The results would be instantaneous and catastrophic. The delicate balance that keeps stars burning would shatter. Without sufficient gravity to hold them together against the immense outward pressure of their own nuclear fusion, every star in the affected region, including our sun, would detonate in a spectacular supernova. Earth would lose its gravitational anchor. Our planet would instantly unspool, its tectonic plates flying apart as the internal pressure of the molten core overcomes the weakened gravity. We would be flung into the freezing void of space, riding on fragments of a broken world. The very force that gave us life would become the mechanism of our instantaneous unraveling. Number 7. The phantom tear. Look at the night sky. The space between the stars is not just empty. It is expanding. Dark energy, a mysterious force making up nearly 70% of the universe, is pushing everything apart at an accelerating rate. For now, gravity holds our galaxy, our solar system, and our bodies together. But what if dark energy suddenly accelerates beyond a critical threshold? This is the Big Rip scenario. It would not happen over billions of years. The final escalation could happen in days. First, the night sky would go completely dark as distant galaxies are pushed away faster than the speed of light. Then, the gravity binding our own Milky Way would fail, scattering the stars like dust in a hurricane. Days later, the solar system would unbind. The Earth would drift away from the sun into the freezing dark. In the final hours, the Earth itself would explode as the gravitational bonds holding the planet together are overpowered. In the last fraction of a second, the electromagnetic forces holding your atoms together would snap. You and everything you have ever known would be violently shredded into subatomic particles, isolated in a rapidly expanding, infinitely cold, and lonely void. Number 6. The dimensional crash. String theory suggests that our entire three-dimensional universe might just be a flat membrane, or a brain, floating in a much larger, higher dimensional space. Think of it like a single sheet of paper floating in a massive, dark room. But we are not the only sheet of paper in this room. There could be other universes, other brains, drifting right alongside ours. What happens if the cosmic wind shifts? What if another universe crashes into ours? This ekpyrotic scenario would be the ultimate cosmic catastrophe. We would have absolutely no way to detect it coming, because the other universe exists outside of our observable dimensions. The moment the two membranes touch, the collision would release a catastrophic amount of energy, effectively recreating the Big Bang. But this time, it would be a big splat. The unimaginable heat and radiation would instantly vaporize our entire universe. All matter, all light, all physical laws would be wiped clean and rewritten in an explosive instant. It would be an execution from a dimension we cannot even comprehend, resetting the cosmic stage and leaving no trace that humanity was ever here. Number 5. The cosmic reversal. Since the dawn of time, the universe has been expanding. We feel safe in this outward momentum. But what if the expansion is not a permanent state? What if the universe is like a giant, cosmic spring that has finally been stretched to its absolute limit? Without warning, the invisible hand of dark energy could lose its grip, and the collective gravity of all the matter in the universe would suddenly take over. The expansion would snap, and the universe would begin to violently contract. This is the big crunch, but occurring with terrifying suddenness. You would not notice it at first, but soon, the light from distant galaxies would shift from a gentle red to a blinding, lethal blue as they hurtle toward us at unimaginable speeds. The cosmic microwave background radiation, the lingering chill of the Big Bang, would begin to heat up. The night sky would become intensely, unbearably bright. Long before the stars actually collide, the ambient temperature of space would rise so high that it would ignite the Earth's atmosphere. The oceans would flash, boil into steam. Finally, all matter, every star, every black hole, and the ashes of our world would be crushed together into a single, infinitely dense point of singularity. Number 4. The quantum tunneling event. In the bizarre world of quantum mechanics, particles can do impossible things. They can pass straight through solid barriers, a phenomenon known as quantum tunneling. It happens on a subatomic level all the time. But quantum mechanics also allows for macroscopic events, provided you have enough time. What if the entire universe, as a single quantum system, suddenly tunneled into a completely different state of existence? Our current reality is built on a specific set of physical laws: the speed of light, the mass of an electron, the strength of the nuclear force. But these laws might just be a temporary arrangement. If a universe-wide quantum tunneling event occurred, the very foundation of reality would be rewritten in a flash. Gravity might suddenly repel matter instead of attracting it. Light might freeze in place. The atomic bonds that hold your DNA together could simply cease to function. This would not be a physical explosion, but a fundamental deletion of the rules that allow us to exist. We would not even have the time to realize we were dying, because the chemical reactions in our brains that process thought would instantly become physically impossible. Number 3. The infectious particle. We often fear biological pandemics, viruses that can mutate and spread across the globe. But the most terrifying infection in the universe is not biological. It is a subatomic contagion known as strange matter. Deep inside the crushing cores of neutron stars, the immense pressure forces protons and electrons to merge, creating a soup of strange quarks. If this strange matter is perfectly stable, it becomes the ultimate state of existence in the universe. But what happens when two neutron stars violently collide in the dark? The explosive force could fling microscopic droplets of this strange matter out into the freezing void of space. These infectious particles, called strangelets, are perfectly silent and impossibly small, drifting through the dark for billions of years without ever degrading. They are the ultimate cosmic zombies. If just one single strangelet, no bigger than a grain of sand, were to drift into our solar system and come into contact with the Earth, the results would be apocalyptic and completely instantaneous. The strangelet is a perfect, stable structure, and it forces every ordinary atom it touches to adopt its own flawless configuration. It is an unstoppable, runaway subatomic chain reaction. The moment it touches the upper layers of our atmosphere, the Earth would begin to convert. The oceans, the crust, the molten mantle, and every living creature on the surface would be instantly transformed into a sterile, ultra-dense lump of strange matter. In a matter of hours, our entire vibrant breathing planet would shrink down to a featureless, dead sphere the size of an asteroid, radiating nothing but cold logic and immense gravity. We would not burn in a fire, we would not freeze in the ice, we would simply be erased and overwritten at the fundamental level of reality. Number 2. The simulation unplugged. What is the absolutely most terrifying thought you can possibly have as a conscious being? It is not the fear of dying or suffering. It is the creeping, paralyzing suspicion that you have never truly been alive in the first place. Advanced theoretical physics and modern philosophy have given rise to the simulation hypothesis, the idea that our entire universe, from the smallest vibrating quark to the largest supercluster of galaxies, is nothing more than a highly advanced, unimaginably complex computer program created by a post-human civilization. We are just lines of sophisticated code running on a server in a higher reality. We think we have free will, but we might just be following algorithmic pathways. If this hypothesis is true, then the end of the universe does not require a physical catastrophe. It does not need a black hole or a supernova. It only requires a simple power failure. Imagine the highly advanced civilization running our simulation suddenly runs out of funding for their cosmic project, or their server hardware begins to degrade, or perhaps the researchers simply get bored of observing our endless human conflicts. Without any warning, without a single alarm sounding across the globe, they could just hit the delete key or pull the physical plug. It would be the ultimate blue screen of death on a cosmic scale. 1 second you are breathing, thinking, and loving your family. And the very next infinitesimal fraction of a second, the processing power of our entire existence drops to zero. Everything goes instantly black. The physical laws we worship, the history we painstakingly recorded, and the consciousness we hold so dear, would vanish into the digital ether without a trace. There would be no afterlife, no remnants of our cities, no ruins for future generations to explore. It would be exactly as if we had never existed at all, just a deleted file in the trash bin of a higher dimension. Number 1. False Vacuum Decay. This is without a doubt the ultimate invisible assassin, the most terrifying concept ever conceived in modern theoretical physics. It is terrifying because it requires absolutely nothing to trigger it, and it is completely, fundamentally unstoppable by any force in nature. Our universe relies on a fundamental energy field called the Higgs field, which permeates all of space and gives everything its mass. Scientists studying the data from the Large Hadron Collider currently believe that the Higgs field in our universe might not actually be resting in its lowest, most stable energy state. Instead, it might be sitting in a temporary dip, a metastable state known as a false vacuum. Think of it like a ball resting in a small dent on the side of a steep mountain. It seems stable, but a slight push could send it rolling all the way down. If even a tiny, microscopic region of space somewhere in the vastness of the cosmos were to randomly quantum tunnel down into the true, stable vacuum, it would create a bubble of pure, absolute nothingness. This bubble would not just sit there peacefully. It would immediately begin to expand outward in all directions at the exact, unbreakable speed of light. Inside this bubble, the fundamental laws of physics are completely and utterly different. The chemistry that binds your DNA, the strong nuclear forces that hold your atoms together, and the physics that allow stars to burn simply do not exist in this new state of reality. As this expanding sphere of ultimate destruction hurtles through the Milky Way galaxy, it annihilates everything it touches. Stars, planets, supermassive black holes, all instantly overwritten by the true vacuum. And because it moves at the speed of light, the absolute speed limit of the universe, we would never, ever see it coming. The light warning us of our impending doom would arrive at the exact same instant as the edge of the bubble itself. You could be drinking your morning coffee, laughing with a friend, walking your dog, and in a billionth of a second, you, the Earth, and the entire solar system would be swallowed by the void. No pain, no realization, no time to scream, just the ultimate, silent erasure of reality itself. These 10 scenarios are not just cheap science fiction tricks or Hollywood movie plots. They are the terrifying, mathematically possible nightmares hiding in the dark, unexplored corners of modern astrophysics. Every single day we worry about our bills, our jobs, our political arguments, and our earthly conflicts, while we blindly float through a cosmic minefield of unimaginable horrors. The universe does not care about our survival. It does not care about our art, our love, or our wars. Our existence is nothing more than a fragile, momentary miracle balanced precariously on the edge of a razor blade. Look up at the night sky tonight. Memorize the constellations. The light from those distant, twinkling stars took millions of years to reach your eyes. For all we know, the stars themselves have already been swallowed by the dark, their galaxies ripped apart by phantom energy or consumed by rogue black holes, and a bubble of pure, physics-destroying vacuum is already halfway here, moving silently through the void toward our tiny blue planet. We are living on borrowed time in a universe that could literally snap its cosmic fingers and erase us in the blink of an eye. If you dare to keep looking up, if you have the courage to explore the terrifying, mind-bending truths of our cosmos, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that like button to support the transmission, and let us know in the comments below which of these 10 cosmic assassins terrifies you the most. Do you fear the silent black hole, or the sudden unplugging of the simulation? Sleep well tonight, if you still can, and we will see you in the next deep dive into the unknown darkness.